Welcome to Check That Post podcast, where we get real about life, love, and relationships. Sometimes we talk about healing. I'm your host, Jen, and today we're checking the post on silence, survivor, and strength, which is a life topic. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Christina.
Hello.
And Queen could not be here tonight. She's not feeling well. We hope you get better, Queen.
Yes. Love you.
Today's life topic is titled, Why She Stayed. The truth most people don't understand. Well, if you've ever asked, why did she stay? This episode might challenge you to ask a better question. As always, we're going to begin with a Dear Jen letter. This one broke something in me because it could have been written by any one of us, or someone we know and love. Take a listen. Dear Jen, I used to believe that love meant patience, sacrifice, and even pain. He never hit me at first. It started with silence, then name calling, then broken things. But every time I tried to leave, he became the man I fell in love with again. Sweet, sorry, begging. Now I'm just numb. I don't cry anymore. I just function. I smile at work, post cute pictures, and pray no one sees the bruises I hide behind makeup and excuses. I don't know if I'm weak for staying or strong for surviving. Please tell me, how do I leave a man who once felt like home? Signed, a woman who's had enough but doesn't know how to let go. Well, I gotta tell you, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone.
No, definitely other women going through the same thing that you're going through or have been through the same thing that you're going through. I definitely sympathize with you and your situation. I cannot personally relate, but my advice is to take care of you. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you remain safe, and that's mentally and physically. So whatever that might be, by all means do it. That's what I have to give on that specifically. I hate to see women go through things as such, and I know that people stay for different reasons. People leave for different reasons, where they might be hanging on for the kids, or just to keep your marriage or relationship together, just to not want to give up and not want to start over. It can be hard, it can be a hard decision to make. It's life changing. It's just not something that you can just make a decision in a split second and think that nothing else is going to be affected by it. So it's a lot to consider when you are in those type of situations. But what you definitely want to do is put yourself first, in my opinion. I feel like you can't be whole, you can't give others what they need completely if, you're not whole yourself. So.
Exactly. Most definitely. That's very good advice. Always take care of yourself. You've been carrying something that's really was never yours to carry. The bruises, the silence, the shame, both the ones on your skin and the ones in your spirit. And somehow you still find the strength to smile and basically to put on for the world. But there's no need to feel shame. There's no need to feel guilt. When something like this occurs, it's devastating, not only to you, if you have children, to your children as well. It's kind of hard to, it kind of brings back, well, not kind of, but it's in a way, it brings back situation that I went through. And I'm going to try not to make this about me, but, when I hear stories like this, it's just...
It's relatable.
Yes, it's very relatable, but you are strong, you are not alone. And I hope that you do find the strength, being that you have had enough, to be able to let go and just move on. But be safe, whatever you do. Don't take chances, because at the end of the day, you still got to survive and be healthy and be strong. Continue to be strong, because it's not a weakness.
Right.
It's really courage to stand up and to say enough is enough.
It is.
You're not crazy. You're not I know you feel like you don't want to talk about it to family and friends because you feel ashamed, but again, you don't have no reason to be ashamed. He should be ashamed,
right?
Or she, or whoever doing the violence, but that's not something that you were put here for, to be somebody's beanbag. First of all,
right?
Maybe you was taught that to believe that pain means he loves you. That's not the case. Maybe you were taught that suffering is part of sacrifice. That's not the case. Real love doesn't make you afraid in your own home.
Right.
And you asked me how to leave a man that once felt like home. I'll tell you this. A place can feel like home and still be a prison. So, for me, it's not the same as good. Comfort is not the same as safety. So you got to do what's best for you. Make a plan. Get help. Seek help. We have a hotline number that you can call if you need to, or text. Also, you can visit a website to be anonymous. But there are places that you can reach out to that people will help you. But just be safe about it.
And help for them as well, because that's abuse.
Yeah.
So that's an issue that needs to be fixed instead of ignored. Otherwise, it could lead to unaliving. It could lead to harming of children. It could lead to if not yourself, the next person after you. Not alarming others as well can be as detriment of detriment to the people that are coming behind you as well. So talk to your partner, make sure they're aware that that's something that you're not okay with, because some women are like some women like that toxic stuff, and some women are the actual abusers, so just talk to your partner to make sure that's not one of those situations. I know it's probably kind of rare, but it happens, you know. So make sure that they're aware that that's not, you know, something that you like, you know, and something that you're not gonna put up with if that's, you know, a breaking point for you. So definitely communicate that with your partner. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that they know. They could have been, you know, brought up in a home, watched their parent abuse, you know, their other parent. So they're thinking that it's okay, that it's normal, that it's going on in every household. You know, it's people that really do think like that.
Right.
So we have to get out of thinking that, you know, just because we know something or just because we go about, you know, doing stuff certain ways that, you know, everybody else is the same. Like, no, we're all different. We all have different mindsets. We think differently. You know, we act differently. So we have to make sure we're relaying this information to the people that are around us and in our space.
Right. And just know that this is not love. You are in survival. And you deserve better. You deserve to live and live in peace and safety.
Right.
So, again, reach out to somebody that you trust, even if you got to whisper it. Make a plan and make your exit. Safely make your exit. And at the end of this episode, we'll give you those numbers or that information. Good luck. Next digit. Dear Jen, I've never written anything like this before. As a man, I was taught to keep things in, to tough it out, to never talk about my feelings, especially when they involve being hurt. But lately, I've been looking in the mirror, and I don't like what I see. I'm not violent. I'm not the guy you see on the news. But I've raised my voice. I've slammed doors. I've said things that cut deep and then act like they didn't mean anything. And the truth is, I did it to the woman I love. She's been patient with me, too patient maybe. And I think I've made a mistake that practice for permission. And I think I've mistaken that practice for permission. I've crossed emotional ties that I swore I never would. I blame her for my stress, my past, and my pain. I told myself that I was just having a moment, but the moments have become patterns, and those patterns have become damage. I've never hit her, but I hurt her. I see it in her eyes when I speak. I hear it in the silence when she stops arguing back. I don't want to lose her, but more than that, I don't want to keep being this version of myself. I guess what I'm asking is, can someone like me change? Can I unlearn what I was taught? Or am I always going to be the guy who loves deeply but destroys quietly? Please be real with me, Jen. Well, thank you for writing, because for the most part, it's the women that taps in, but for the man to tap in, you know, that's the first step. Being able to admit you're wrong and to talk about it. That takes strength and bravery, and we appreciate that. Now, for you to say that out loud, yeah, that's your first step. You healing. Yes, you can change. That's a step right there, showing that you can change. If you was in denial, oh, that ain't me, I don't do those things, then that's one thing. But the fact that you can admit it to yourself and then to tell someone else, that's the right direction.
And the desire to want to make a change, desire to want to be different, because you know what you're doing it and working. So definitely talk to her, let her know exactly how you feel.
Yes.
Especially if you don't want to lose her, because it sounds like she might be tipping, her way out. But if you let her know, just bear with you while you're on this journey, or if you want to let her go while you're on this journey, come back and scoop her up, when you complete it, or when you feel like you're able to handle the relationship. Because to me, in my personal opinion, it doesn't sound like you should be in a relationship right now. It just seems like you probably need to kind of focus on yourself a little bit more versus the relationship, because you have to consider the other person in the relationship as well.
Yes.
Sometimes we can be really selfish when it comes to the relationship. Just thinking about our wants and our desires and our needs, and putting our partner's needs and wants and desires on the back burner, when it really should be vice versa, in my opinion. So just talk to her, definitely see where her head is, how she feels about it, and see if she's even willing to stick around while you get yourself together.
Yeah. Make her feel safe, because if she don't feel safe, she's not going to stick around. But you can change, but not by making promises, because we break promises all the time, but through patience. And you got to be patient with her as well, because you can't expect after she done been hurt by you for her to just naturally trust you and allow you to hurt her again. So just be patient. If she's not ready to accept your apologies, then you got to wait on her,
right?
Because you hurt her, so you got to give her time to heal. Love doesn't just come with emotions; it comes with discipline as well. And you can't just mean well; you got to do better. Start by asking questions like, where does this anger come from? Like, is it something deep rooted within you that just burst out of you? Like, it had to have a starting point. So check that out. Who taught you that silence, blame, or control were normal? Like, was there something in your childhood? Like, just ask yourself these questions and, try to figure it out. Find out what part of you is still trying to win a fight that you lost in your childhood. Because a lot of times it stems from something simple, such as, losing a contest. Maybe there's something that's bothering you that you didn't recognize bothering you, and you just lashed out. Something triggered it and you lashed out, and you lashed out at her. But, seek therapy. We always go back to the therapy. There's nothing wrong with seeking therapy. You ain't so manly that you can't seek therapy, because it could help you. So look at that as an option, and take her with you sometime. Go by yourself too, but take her with you sometime. Invite her to come. Now, if she say no, I don't want to come, then be okay with it. Give her time. Be humble. Don't get mad at her the first time you try to take her somewhere to make up for it and she don't accept it. Be okay with it. And I know that's easy said and done, but you got to remember though, you hurt her. She didn't hurt you. So real growth comes when there's change. So you got this. I believe you can do it. And you say you love her and you don't want to lose her, so that means you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. So let us know how that turned out.
Yes.
We have One more to Jen that we can get into. Dear Jen, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I used to be full of light. I used to laugh out loud, dance in the kitchen, and dream big dreams. But now, I walk on eggshells in my own home. I smile when I need to. I speak carefully. I shrink myself to fit the mood he wakes up in. He's never hit me the way people think of abuse, but he's shattered things around me. He called me every name except beautiful and convinced me no one else would want me if I left. And for a long time, I believed him. Some days I wonder if I'm overreacting. Other days, I know I'm not. I just don't know how to leave when I've already given up so much to stay. What if I go and end up alone forever? What if I stay and lose myself completely? I haven't told anyone, not even my mother. I'm afraid of the judgment, the shame, and the pity in their eyes. I'm tired of pretending, but I'm terrified of the truth. I keep asking myself, is it really that bad, or am I just being dramatic? Please, Jen, talk to me like someone who's been there. I need to hear from someone who gets it, because right now I feel invisible. A woman who's still here but barely holding on.
Well, another one, hate that you're going through this situation. Don't feel, I don't know, don't feel, bad about it, about the way you feel, you know. You don't deserve to go through, you know, what you're going through. It's not normal. You know, I know we sometimes tend to make things the new norm, but it's not. You know, that's not what the average woman should be going through. And don't worry about what people might think about it, about you being alone. I want to say who cares. I'm just the type that I don't care. I don't care what people think. You know, as long as I'm happy, as long as, you know, my kids, as long as they're happy, you know, that's really all I care about. And really at the end of the day, you know, you're never alone. You know, you're never ever alone. You know, you always got, you know, whatever higher being that you look up to, you know, they're all, he, she, whoever, whatever you call them, you know, they're always going to be right there. Omnipresent, you know, everywhere you go, no matter where you go, you know, he's always going to be by your side. You know, we say we see people talking to themselves, you know, and we be looking at them all crazy and stuff. Like, you don't know who they talking to. You know, they could be talking to, you know, the man himself. You know, they could be talking to a demon too. You know, like, we don't know. You know, you don't know. So, you know, you're never alone. Just know that. You know, even when, you know, you're in the room and you're the only one that you see, you know, you're still not alone. So, you know, talk to whoever you gotta talk to. You know, if you have to leave that situation, you know, the thing about it is, you can always start over. You know, like, there's no shame, there's no foul harm. Sometimes it's great to start over, to get a whole new, fresh start on whatever, a job, life, you know, relationships, all of that, you know. Sometimes it's necessary to start over. So I feel like, don't be afraid to, you know, start over again. It can be refreshing. Just take the good, leave the bad, and just move forward. Don't look back. Just keep going. And it'll only get better. It'll get better and better from there, as long as you want it to. As long as you're not, dwelling on the past, not allowing it to prevent you from moving forward in your future.
Yes. I gotta tell you that yes, it's really that bad, and you are not being dramatic. And to be honest, I say that because I have been there. I don't talk about it because it's in my past for one, and it doesn't define me for another. And I'm not a victim. I am a survivor. I married at 18, very young, to someone that was, I believe he was 29. Had no idea about the world. But I was trying to escape a situation that I felt wasn't good for me. And he wasn't abusive when I married him. He wasn't abusive when the little short time that we dated. But to make a long story short, he got hooked on drugs, and he really became somebody else. And when the children came, it just got worse. I guess he was feeling the pressures. But I went through the walking on the eggshells, and I had 3 children back to back. So the arguing and the fussing and the fighting, it just continued to get worse. To the point where I couldn't work because I was at home with the kids. So I would ask him for money to get diapers and to get milk for the babies and to get food. And he would just go ballistic. And he would grab me by my throat. I have 2 boys, so they had 2 twin beds side by side. And he would just drag me from one bed to the other bed. And he would just be choking me until I'm about ready to pass out. And just when I'm ready to pass out, he would come to his senses. And I could look, the look in his eyes was crazy. Like he just was not himself. And I fought back, I did. But my little strength was nothing compared to his.
Right.
And it got so bad that every night I would lay there, but I couldn't sleep for fear that he was gonna stab me in my back. And I slept on the edge of the bed every night. So I'm exhausted by the time I get up to go take care of the kids. And he would leave and then go to work, and then the next day it's the same old scenario. And it went on and on until I got the courage to pack our bags and call some help. And I got out of there and I did not look back. And I left a note, told him don't look for us. So we wasn't coming back, and we didn't. And life been good from there. I never looked back. So I say all that to say, you're not being dramatic. I made the mistake of not telling nobody. My stepmom, she knew about it, and she would come and get us on the weekend and let us stay with her just so we have something to eat and buy the kids the diapers that they need and the milk that they needed. But at the end of the day, we had to go home. And so I would be there and it's just fussing and arguing, fighting, fussing and arguing, fighting, constant. But I knew this wasn't my life. And for my kids' sake, they was potty trained. They was stressing and start wetting the bed and get dark circles under the eyes. It just was not a good environment for none of us. My weight was going up and down, hair falling out. You know, we was just going through it. So I waited for him to go to work one day. And I packed my kids up and we left. So I say to you, it don't get no better. If the situation is not good for you, and if you got kids for your kids, get out. Find a way to get out. Because at the end of the day, your life means more than somebody to be putting their hands on you. That's not what you're here for. I hope you get help before it's too late, because a lot of times it doesn't end in a good situation. Please get out. You can visit the hotline.org for anonymous help, or call 800-799-7233, or text 88788 to get help. It doesn't matter how many kids you have. It doesn't matter if you don't have kids.
Right.
Get out of that situation.
Yeah.
He can't argue with himself. You deserve better.
Absolutely.
I apologize. I didn't mean to get emotional.
You're human, so you don't have to apologize for your emotions, man.
I know part of you probably hoping he'll change. And they're going to say they're sorry. They're going to cry, beg you for forgiveness. Then they do it again and again and again. My husband dragged me behind a church in an attempt to beat me to death. And that was the last straw for me. I knew it was something better for me. So I chose better for me and my kids. So I'm telling you, get out. When it's safe, get out.
Right.
Don't dim your light just to keep somebody. You can do good by yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, when I left that situation, my life got better. Their life got better. All the stress was gone. Not at first, because even after I found this place, I still kept the house locked down to the point where at night the tree would be rubbing against the window and making a scratching noise. And my son, my middle son, would wake up screaming, crying, thinking his daddy trying to get him. Yes, it was that bad. Receiver. So it took a while for all of us to calm down and relax. And we did it without therapy. Don't ask me how, but by the grace of God, we did. And we survived. So now we are living. We're not just surviving, we're living. So I say to you, you can do this. Please get some help. You deserve happiness. You deserve joy. So go for what you know. Here are some signs. Here are some signs that you can look for to recognize for anyone listening, wondering, or second guessing. Here's some signs that you might be in a physical or emotional abusive relationship. Gaslighting. You're told you're too sensitive or you're just imagining things. Isolation. When you lost touch with friends and family, they don't want you around your friends and family. Control. When they monitor your actions, your phone, your money, your time even. Blame shifting. Everything is always your fault, no matter what. It's your fault. Fear of reaction. When you're walking around eggshells every day. Verbal attacks. Constant insults. Name calling. Silent treatments. Love bombing. Intense affection followed by withdrawal. You know, they want to love up on you one minute and then they withdraw from you the next. And you don't know which way to feel. Watch out for those types of signs. And I'm not saying every situation is this way, but you know how to tell the difference. If you're an adult, you know.
Right.
Also, this is what I want you to remember. Abuse doesn't have to have bruises for it to be real. You know, sometimes they might hit you in spots that can't be seen. In other words, they hit you where the bruises will be covered by your clothing. And you're smiling and acting like you're happy. Even celebrities go through this. Acting like they're happy. And then time you get in the house, they flip the script. Their whole mask come off. And they show who they really are. Prime example, what's that movie? A Mad Black Woman? Diary of a Mad Black Woman? No, the one where they had went out.
Family reunion? Is it a family reunion?
The one that where he was in a wheelchair and she dumped him in the tub.
Oh, okay, that was.
Oh no, I can't think right now, but you know, you just have to choose careful. I mean, there's so much going on today with domestic violence. People taking out their whole family, all because they feel inadequate. Don't let it be you. If you see the signs, act on it.
Right.
Get help. Even if you just suspect, you know that uneasy feeling, that feeling where you on edge. Sometimes people can look at you and how they feel you be seeing it, but you think to yourself, oh, he loves me. He would never feel that way about me. But you looking dead at it. So it's easy to be in denial because you thinking this person loves you, but at the same time, they hating your guts. And some people will even say that when they feel comfortable in a group. And they'll be like, I can't stand her. And then they'll try to laugh it off. But sometimes they telling you how they feel.
Yeah.
They really feel that way. So, you see, believe. Hearing is believing. Not just seeing.
Right. Yeah, them little jokes be for real.
Yeah, I always got a little truth to it. If this episode spoke to your soul, share it. Leave a comment. Reach out. Someone else might need your strength. Thank you for tuning in to Check That Pulse.